No one can make you unhappy except for yourself. 3 minutes to read a book. Today, we'll talk about Counseling for Toads by British psychologist Robert D. Bourdon. The book has received a solid 4.7 star rating. When we were younger, we might have wondered, who would actively choose sadness and pain? However, as time passes, we gradually realize that happiness and unhappiness are choices we make within ourselves. Only after experiencing the ups and downs of life do we come to understand that we, and only we, are in control of the decisions that shape our lives. If you're feeling lost or exhausted, perhaps this book can offer you a fresh perspective and guide you on a new journey. In the story, Mr. Toad, once a happy and carefree character living in a spacious manor, suddenly finds himself engulfed in sadness. He shrinks into a pile of old clothes, looking dejected, and even his favorite trousers hang loose. A stark contrast to his usual lively self. His friends suggest he seek the help of Dr. Heron, a psychologist. During his first session, Mr. Toad opens up about his troubled relationship with his father. His father, though the CEO, always lived in the shadow of his grandfather's legacy. Desperate to prove himself, he tried to surpass his grandfather's achievements but failed, putting all his expectations on Mr. Toad. In an attempt to win his father's approval, Mr. Toad overexerted himself, only to be met with rejection and criticism. This constant struggle eroded his self-confidence, and he began blaming everything around him. Dr. Heron then asked him, "When you see yourself as the victim, do you ever consider your own responsibility?" This question made Mr. Toad reflect deeply. He began to realize that often he had magnified his struggles to gain attention, instead of truly understanding his own behavior. Once he acknowledged this, his mood began to improve, and his relationships also started to heal. The book introduces the concept of the victim mentality, a psychological term for those who always shift the blame onto others, believing they are innocent victims, and that their misfortune is caused by external forces. This mindset leads to frustration and resentment, and makes it difficult to take responsibility for one's actions. However, true change comes when we start taking responsibility for our own emotions and behavior. Mr. Toad's experience also reveals the trap of people-pleasing. Throughout his life, he had constantly tried to please his parents, neglecting his own needs. Even after they passed away, this tendency still dominated his life. It wasn't until Dr. Heron guided him to realize that he didn't need to live for others. His worth was not defined by the approval but by how he defined himself. Gradually, Mr. Toad learned to please himself and started paying attention to his own feelings. As his self-awareness grew, he became more confident and began making decisions that aligned with his true self. Ultimately, he not only regained his position, but also discovered a renewed sense of purpose. This story reminds us that true happiness comes from inner peace, not external validation. When we stop trying to meet others' expectations and begin to focus on our own needs, we find our own path. As the book says, we are the masters of our emotions. Happiness and unhappiness are our choices, not imposed by others.